Okay, and we're back with another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest. I'm Seth from the Lonely Star podcast, and this is episode 61 of my side quest. Now, in this episode, we're going to talk about a recent article from Bully Ray. Of course, we all know Bully Ray, WWE, TNA, NECW legend, one half of the Dudley Boys of Team 3D. But he's actually commenting about TNA, current TNA X Division champion Moose, and talking about how he's kind of outgrown TNA. And immediately when I hear this, I do agree with this. Because Moose is he's getting old though. That's the thing. He's getting old, but he was when he was younger and still even now a very talented in-ring wrestler. He's a big guy. He's 40 now. He's 40, 6'5". Obviously, 5, 6, 7 years ago when this guy was kind of more in his prime, he was a tremendous athlete for someone his size. And even now, he's still a good athlete and can still put on some decent matches for sure. He's a former three-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and of course, like I said, the current X Division Champion. Moose is a guy that I've been familiar with for a very long time. Back in his Ring of Honor days, I remember seeing his first Ring of Honor matches, and that must have been, well over. I mean, probably about a decade ago, give or take, a decade ago. And I remember they brought him in and they were pushing him in Ring of Honor. He was unbeaten for a long time. He was wearing if I can remember correctly, he was wearing like a football mask, football helmet. Like billed as like a former NFL crossover star that's now in in pro wrestling, and a bit of a Goldberg type. To be fair, he was a bit of like a Ring of Honor Goldberg when he was first coming in. Former football star, unbeaten run, big guy, built. Of course, he didn't have anywhere near the body that Goldberg had, but comparatively to the wrestlers nowadays, he's got quite a muscular build. So yeah, he was getting built up quite a bit in Ring of Honor. Then he kind of joined TNA when they were probably at their worst. Is when he joined TNA, but he's managed to stick it through with TNA, and I guess in a lot of ways that loyalty has been rewarded from them. He's had multiple world title runs. He's a current champion. He's 40. He's probably one of the better guys of this generation of TNA in terms of one of their biggest stars. I mean, that's why Bully Ray's kind of said that comment where he's saying Moose has outgrown TNA. I don't know if he has. I don't think he's transcended TNA yet. I think he's a very talented wrestler. I think he's got some aura there, and we're seeing it with the crossover with NXT where he's feuding with Obafemi. Yeah, Obafemi, the NXT heavyweight champion, and Moose could go toe to toe with that guy. So he's got enough aura for that. But when Bully Ray says he's outgrown TNA, I'm like, outgrown TNA and go to WWE? Not really. Outgrown TNA to go to NXT, maybe. But in my opinion, you don't really want to be 40 years old in WWE's developmental. And I think this is something that Moose has kind of preferred his entire career, sort of being the big fish in the small pond. I think deliberately went to Ring of Honor when he did. He knew they were going to build him up, give him some time to develop himself. He put him on the pre-show, put him on the TV, and then just go over to TNA at a time when TNA desperately needed major stars, and he was willing to put in the work and become one of those major stars for them. And is now at this point in 2025, Moose is one of the pillars of TNA, 100%. 100%. You say TNA, you think of TNA in 2025. One of the first guys I'm thinking of Nick Nemeth, Joe Hendry, Moose. You know what I mean? Those are the top three guys in the Hardys, maybe. So Moose is right up there with these guys. But I don't think he's necessarily outgrown TNA. I think a guy like Joe Hendry probably has outgrown TNA, which is crazy to say because he's just become the world champion. He just got the strap. But I think Joe Hendry's outgrown TNA. I think Joe Hendry probably should go on the main roster. But if I'm Joe Hendry, I wouldn't be doing that because I've just become world champion. I don't want to go to being just a job guy in WWE because the reality is Joe Hendry probably would just be a job guy in WWE. That sort of gimmick, you're not a superstar with that sort of gimmick. The best you can hope for is sort of a run that like Elias had when he was at one point one of the most over guys in the company, but realistically was never winning a world championship, never winning a major title. Maybe you give him a IC title run or a United States title run, you know, just to spice up a storyline, but never really, a contender. But from that sense, Moose would be a better fit for WWE than a guy like Joe Hendry. So I do get that argument. But like I said, if I'm Moose, I wouldn't want to be 40 years old in WWE's developmental. I'd be surprised if they put him straight onto the main roster, given his sort of situation and how he is. I don't think he's. I probably don't think he's good enough in ring to be a major player on the main roster. And to be fair, I don't think his promos are anything amazing either. His promos aren't particularly good. Obviously, he's got a bit of a lisp. He's a bit goofy at times when kind of hearing him speak. Maybe a manager would be a good move for him. I guess he hasn't had a manager so far and he's 40. Maybe, though. Maybe you could get a manager in that's like, yeah, I've got this beast from another company. I'm going to do whatever. Yeah, potentially. But yeah, I hear the claims that Bully Ray's making, and I understand why he's saying that. And there is a part of me that agrees with me, but in reality, I don't think it's gonna work. I think TNA have got a pretty good deal with Moose. I think Moose is happy there as well. I think above all, Moose is happy at TNA, and he said that in interviews where he said he's made his money. He's already made his money in the NFL. So luckily, when he came to pro wrestling, he didn't need to do pro wrestling for the money. He was able to do it for the love of it. And when you're able to just do it for the love of it, you can sort of pursue more creative endeavors. You don't have to be driven by money. Where no doubt WWE would probably offer him more money, but at what cost? Maybe at TNA he's got some creative control and he's got more creative input and it's more of a collaborative process. Where in WWE, to be fair, in WWE now it probably is more like that, but historically it's not been like that in WWE. So yeah, very interesting situation in my opinion for Moose, but I don't know how long his contract is going to last for. To be fair, I don't know if his contract is up soon. I hope it's not because, like I said, he seems happy in TNA, and I think TNA is a good fit for him. So yeah, I'm respectfully going to have to disagree with Bully Ray on this one. But yeah, another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, episode 61, and I'm out. Peace.